Unit 1B, Lesson 6, the atom. Our essential question for this lesson is, how do we know what parts make up the atom? So our standard for this lesson is to develop models to help us understand the patterns that we see in the periodic table. That's S8P1E. Like every lesson, we start out with an engage your brain, and it's going to be on page 179. So pause the video and then come back when you've got the introductory activity finished. The first question wants you to look at the words, list of words, and they want you to put a plus sign next to the ones that you are familiar with. They want you to put a minus sign for the ones you're not familiar with, and a question mark on those that are so-so. Then they want you to make a sentence using one of the words that you marked as you are familiar with. The next question gives you two statements, and I want you to mark whether the statements are true or false. It's a good practice to get into to start underlining the words that make the statement false if the statement is false, and then trying to correct the statement. Number 3, ask you to read the sample sentence for each of the words and then write a definition of those words based on the context clues that you find in the sentence. And that takes us to number 5. No, PowerPoint. So read the first two paragraphs of as a matter of fact, and then it wants you to describe who was Democritus. So I would put what he was, and then what was he famous for? That's what they're looking for in that question. So in 6.2a, as a matter of fact, the essential question is, what makes up matter? We already learned some properties of matter, and that matter is anything that has mass, and takes up space. So we start out looking at Democritus. We didn't always know what we were made of or what atoms were. And then when we did find out about atoms, we didn't know that there were smaller parts of the atoms. So Democritus was one of the first to come up with this word autonomous to mean small particle filled with empty space. Number 6 is an analyze question. And it asks you, what can you infer about the atoms from this image? And it's this image here. And what can't you infer from the image? So we're going to look at a bigger picture of that. And we could see a couple things from the image. And what I find that is most students don't take time to look at the things to help them answer the question. So there's a couple of things here with the image that will help you. One is that they're labeling this area here as one atom. So that means this would be an atom and this would be an atom. The next is that it tells you that this is an image of how carbon atoms are connected in a substance. And it's taken with a special type of an electron microscope. It's actually taken with a scanning electron microscope, an SEM takes a 3D picture of things versus a transmission electron microscope takes a flat or 2D image of things. So if you're looking at this with the knowledge that these are carbon atoms, what can we infer about the carbon atoms? So this one and 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 this one. And what can't we infer? So I would look at all the different atoms and then look at the space here. So here are some other pictures of molecules taken with a transmission electron microscope. So this is the transmission TEM pictures. And so this is the model that we theorized that this molecule would look like. And this is the current resolution of that molecule in a TEM. And you can see that we have this circular carbon structure, and we have it here in our model that we have theorized also. So this is what we came up with the knowledge that we had about how carbon bonds, how far away they are from each other. This angle is actually a measured angle. It isn't just there taken for granted. Chemists actually can take x-rays of atoms and find out the distances and the angles that these atoms line up as. So these aren't just because someone sat down and put the beads together. So evidence to support our models of how we are learning about chemistry currently.